Alright, Christian Styles back for another video. And I know I didn't want to make any more of these videos, but I feel like I don't really have a choice because I want to be as, as transparent as possible when it comes to everything that is going on right now. So, for one, my ex-wife got me arrested on false charges for the second time, okay? So, as we know, she's the kind of woman that throws the rock and then hides her hands afterwards. Otherwise, meaning she causes the issue and then pretends as if she didn't, in fact, cause the issue that led to whatever, the disagreement, the fight, the argument, whatever it was. She just pretends as if she's the total victim in the matter. And this particular situation is no different. In fact, it is exactly the same. And so, I'm trying to break this down. So, female mentality, female mindset. So, basically, what she wants the world and everyone else to believe is that she can, A, harass people, B, disrespect them, C, spew out hate speech, racism, and all of the things that one shouldn't say amongst society, derogatory terms, whatever. And have there be no repercussions for that being the case. Does that make sense? So, she just wants everyone to, I guess, it's like a slap on the wrist. No consequence. Because I'm not one to do that. I've never been one to do that. It then creates not really a battle between the two of us, because there is no battle, because I always win. But at the same time, it creates a toxic environment where the two of us have to go back and forth to show our dominance, in a sense. I have to stand my ground. She tries very hard to stand her ground, and then it becomes this back and forth situation, so to speak, and it doesn't actually need to be that. So the other day, her third attorney, remember Pam, the one that looked kind of questionable? If you guys didn't see that video, I'll link it in the description down below. However, she quit, just like they always do. This is the third attorney that has quit. And I'm getting to the point where it's kind of like, why do you bother at this point? Every time you hire someone, you either A, can't pay them, and then they end up quitting, or you lie to them to the point where they're done putting up with the lies, and then they decide to withdraw and quote, have irreconcilable differences, okay? So, in this particular case, she couldn't pay her. I knew that she couldn't pay her. I was saying that she couldn't pay her, and I knew that to be a fact. So what ends up happening now is, I believe that attorney is going to sue her for the remainder, which I think she should. And I've been very vocal about that, because you don't get to, quote, represent someone and waste all your time and your energy and then not get paid for the job you did. So I think she should sue, and I've pretty much made that clear. Not because there's any hatred or animosity or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the simple fact that I believe it is honestly what is best in this particular situation. Man. Okay, so here's where we are. So her attorney ended up quitting, which is great. It's fine. All of that is good and fine. I wasn't surprised that she quit. I actually sent her a nice, goodbye email because I felt as if it was my responsibility to make it kind of clear that I told you from the beginning what was going to take place, and it turns out that I was right. I wasn't trying to be right. I just happened to be right. So, I sent her a goodbye email saying that, you know what, you should have listened to me when I told you that she's full of shit. You didn't, and now look at what's happening. So, how did I find this information out? Well, it was pretty simple, actually. She came to me and she asked me, or was saying that she needed the child support money in order to pay all of her debts. And when you think about it, you don't have a house, you don't have any place of your own that you're actually living, you don't have any bills, you're not paying FPL, you don't have anything to your name. So what is it that you need to pay exactly? And then it hit me, oh, she needs the money so she can pay the attorney because she's not working as much as she should. Ding, 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 ding. So, in other words, she's asking me to hurry up and pay her child support money that she's not entitled to so that she doesn't have to work as hard, and I'm basically paying for her to have a lawyer that she wages a war against me with. Make it make sense. Doesn't quite work. So at this point, I'm trying to undo everything that the court decided to do because, A, I think it was extremely biased. The general magistrate's a black woman. This bitch is a black woman. I just think that it was simply because she had a vagina, not because our arrangement is in the best interest of the child. The best interest of the child being with the person that doesn't have health care, insurance, or anything such as that for the child, the things that the child actually needs. He doesn't even have a decent place to lay his head. All of those things is a problem, big problem. So I'm trying to prove that point that I think it would be better for my child to be on the road with me and be traveling with me and be in a different city, in a different area, in a different state even, every 60 to 90 days or whatever. Especially now that he's not in any elementary school or anything such as that. I think that there's no harm in that. I think that that's actually a really good thing. And so their point is, stability is better for a baby and not to be going all around. But the fact of the matter is, having a parent that can do more for that child is actually better for the child. Someone who doesn't struggle to buy the child things or to pay attention to the child at all, or make sure that that child is their responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in this particular situation, there's no way in hell that I wouldn't fight and do everything possible to make sure that the court gives me my fair share. She lied in the final hearing, and the general magistrate just ate it up. She didn't present any documents. She didn't present any proof. It was literally just all hearsay. And there was nothing to back up any of the silly points she was making. And there's no police reports that back up any silly point that she was making. The system is just rigged against men, and I will say that because it's true. I'm literally a product of the system being against men. Hence why I reported the judge to the state, because there's no way to report a general magistrate, so you'd have to report the sitting judge. And so I reported him on her behalf because he's the one who actually makes the final say. She's just the one who hears the case. So he puts his signature on it without actually reading or understanding what, in fact, he's signing. He is a new justice, which Christopher Wiggins, whoever else has him in Broward County, Florida, you're in for a rude awakening because he sucks at his job and he shouldn't be on the bench. I don't think that there are people well, actually, I think that there are people out there that would agree with that very statement. And I know people that also have him as a judge who's also, their cases have gone to shit as well. So I can back up what I'm saying by multiple instances and multiple people's cases that have gone down the shitter because of this new judge. Maria Weeks, we didn't have this problem. She was wonderful. The 3 other senior judges, we didn't have a problem with them either. It was kind of like, we've been doing this for 60 years. It's very simple. We understand common sense. He's not quite understanding common sense. And I think that's actually kind of sad, because him as a man himself, you know, him being a judge, if he were in the same situation, if he were in the same position, the system would do him just the same because he's a man. Might be awarded a little bit of a different outcome because he's a white man, but nevertheless, he's still a man. So the fact that he is not more willing to fix and correct the issues of his own rulings is just really off-putting. And it really just shows how far this world and this country has fallen. So in any case, I'm not going to let this go until I get my rightful due. So I don't care if we have to do this for 10 more years. I will be fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting year after year after year after year after year after year after year until it kills me. Because I owe my son that much to do the right thing for him, because if he stays under her direction and under her tutelage, in which she knows nothing about life or anything on earth, she knows nothing, he is going to suffer. He's already suffering. No toys, no livelihood, no health care, no proper mothering, no proper anything like that. I could pull a monkey off the street and put a dress on it, and it would be a better mother to him than his own mom, and that's really, really sad. So I believe that I would be doing him a disservice by giving up. So I have to do what I know in my heart of hearts is right. Every single other person knows that it is right too. And so I have to do what is necessary. And so I'm, obviously I filed a restraining order and for false imprisonment and stuff like that. So I'm going through the process of doing that as well, and dropping this current case because they did it under the wrong name and all of that kind of stuff. They gave the court the incorrect name. So my ex-wife and her sister thought it was a good idea to call the cops after I left and then make up this elaborate story about how I fled, when it's pick up and drop off. After I dropped the kid off, it was time for me to physically leave. So there was no fled or anything like that. That just doesn't quite make any sense. So, I'm sorry, I gotta get out the rain. So my thing is, they're trying to claim, oh, you fled, you left, all of this kind of stuff. If someone calls the cops after I leave, which the pickup and drop off, it was over with, what am I supposed to do? Stay and do what exactly? The pickup and drop off was over. My son was already in my ex-wife's sister's car because she doesn't have a car. She doesn't even have a life, career, nothing. It was time for me to leave. So nobody fled anywhere. So it's just funny to me that all these lies just continue to pile up, and I think it's just going to come back and bite her in the ass, most importantly. And on top of that, DCF is involved again for the third time. I haven't even made contact with them, so I'll have to reach out to them and see what happens. But I definitely, at this point, have to keep you guys posted and let you guys know what's going on. So that was basically it. This is not a really video for pure entertainment, but it's just an update on basically what's going on. All right, stay perfectly imperfect, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.